Connor McDavid has recently become the 6th player in NHL history to record 150 points in one season. I thought it would be fitting if we put all 6 of them on the same team, separating them in 2 lines and seeing how many Stanley Cups they could win. I also had to pick a team to put them on, so I just put them on Edmonton. That way they also have a great supporting cast of Draisaitl, Nugent Hopkins, and Hyman on the 3rd line. One quick thing to note before we start is Phil Esposito is not in the game, so I had to make my own. Year number 1, the team would finish with a 62-16-4 record, earning 128 points, first in the entire league. Still less wins than the current Boston Bruins, which is absolutely crazy. Gretzky would end up having the most points out of the 6 with 126 points, while it would actually be Esposito with the least amount, earning only 73 points. Lemieux would have the most goals at 61. McDavid with the least amount of goals at 33. That's just a crime. Draisaitl had 34, one more than McDavid on the 3rd line. Won't look at goalies too much, but for the first season, I definitely will. 50 wins for Skinner in 68 games played, a 9.12 save percentage and a 2.67 goals against average with 4 shutouts. Campbell actually had way better stats and won 12 games out of 18 played. Gretzky's 126 points was good enough to lead the entire league, and Lemieux led the league in goals with his 61, though Kane was close at 59. Hopefully this dominating season actually translates into playoff success, because we know how that works in this game most of the time. And after literally going undefeated in the first 3 rounds of the playoffs, we find ourselves in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals against the New York Islanders. Let's see if the EA gods will be smiling upon us today, or just slapping us right in the face like usual. Period number 1, Game 7, 3-0 Islanders, because of course it is. Period number 2, 3-2, we're making a comeback. Nichols and McDavid score. We get the great 8-time speed watch party, and Lee scores to make it 4-2 Islanders. And it's 5-2. Jordan Eberle. Gretzky gets one back, but I don't think we're gonna actually make. Yeah, it's over. New York Islanders are your Stanley Cup champions after beating us in 7 games in the finals. Like I said, we were literally undefeated going into the Stanley Cup final round, so I don't even know what to say anymore. I mean, Boston lost to Columbus, so that's all you need to know about this game's simming engine. I don't like being a negative Nancy, but this game definitely brings it out of you. Gretzky, 28 points to lead the team. Yzerman was the worst with 19. For goals, it was a 3-way tie between Esposito and Lemieux with 11, while Bernie Nichols was the worst with 5. I have a lot of questions that you guys probably know the answer to, but I do not. How do we have 6 losses on our goalies when we've only lost 4 games the entire playoff run? Is it because the starting goalie that was in also gets the loss when the backup goalie comes in and loses? Is that how it works? That's the only way it makes sense. I could sit here and rant all day, but I'm not going to. Instead, I'm going to talk about the fact that Jeff Skinner is not only on the Islanders, but he led the entire league in playoff points, tied with Wayne Gretzky.
This is fine.
He did play 5 more games. In terms of awards, obviously the Ross goes to Gretzky. He also grabs regular season MVP. Edmund gets the James Norris Trophy. Gretzky gets the Lady Byng. John Cena himself with the Calder for Rookie of the Year. I thought they had the profile pictures in the game now, or is it only in HUT because that's the only game mode they care about? I mean, somebody had to say it, right? I mean, everyone says it. Jeff Skinner is your playoff MVP. Shesterkin is your Vezina winner, and your William M. Jennings winner. We got Vlasic winning the Bill Masterson, and Vlasic winning the Jack Adams. Is that Mark-Edward Vlasic from the future? I mean, it low-key looks like him, I'm not gonna lie. Either way, let's move on to the second season. Number 2, McDavid and Gretzky are casually at a 98 overall. We can't lose, right? The year does go better, a 63-14-5 record, earning 131 points for first in our division, obviously, as well as first in the entire league. So the team got better, or stayed the same, except for Bernie Nichols, but their point totals got way worse, except for McDavid, who led our team with 114. That's up from last year. Phil Esposito had the worst at 62. And the most goals on our team this year was only 39, and it was Gretzky, while Bernie Nichols had 24. Quick look at goaltending. Campbell only lost 3 games the entire year, with only 2 losses on his record, actually. David had to share the crown as him and Kane tied for top of the league in points with their 114. And we didn't even have anyone in the top 10 of goal scoring. Kucherov and Matthews tied for top of the league with 59. As long as we win the Stanley Cup, I'm not going to complain, honestly. And in round number 2, we are going to Game 7 against the Seattle Kraken. Period number 1, 3-0 Seattle. Shane Wright with a goal. This is not going how I planned it going. I can tell you that much. 4-0 Kraken. I'm not even gonna slow sim it. They win 5-1, and we are out. And our only goal scorer was Draisaitl, once again on the 3rd line. One thing I will say is that every player on our team is a center, like that we're using, and we have to put them on the wing. I guess that might affect how they play, but it shouldn't be this bad, right? And as you did just see, the Boston Bruins are your Stanley Cup champions, beating Winnipeg in 4 games. Quick look at playoff stats. 21 points for McDavid led our team, while it would be Lemieux leading in goals with 9. Skinner sucked butts, man. What am I even looking at? It'd be Blake Wheeler leading the league in playoff points with 24, while Pasternak led it in goals with with 10. Patrick Kane would be your regular season MVP, as well as winning the Art Ross. James Norris goes to Adam Fox. Lady Bing going to Patrick Kane as well. Shane Wright gets the Calder. Costa is your playoff MVP. Stuart Skinner wins the Vezina, which makes me want to vomit, as well as the William Jennings. Chris Russell is apparently still alive, and he won the Bill Masterton Award. And B Rabbit's cousin F Rabbit wins the Jack Adams Award. Year number 3 ends up being our worst year by far. Only 49 wins, 23 losses, and 10 overtime/shootout losses for 108 points, which is a 3-way tie for second place in the league. Point total still not adding up. In year number 3, 110 points for Gretzky led our team. Esposito had the least amount with 60, and he only scored 15 goals, which is crazy. Actually, Nichols was the worst. He had 51 points. I didn't even realize that. Esposito having 15 goals is crazy. He has 95 in every shooting category. With that being said, it was Lemieux with the most goals on our team with 40. Skinner is not doing us any favors this year. He had below 900 save percentage and above 3 goals against average. Wayne Gretzky would lead the entire league in points with 110, and it would be Patrick Kane leading the league in goals with 57. Let's see if third time is the charm. We get a playoff rematch against Seattle. We did lose last time. I'm gonna have to go look at Chicago's team because we're going to game 7 with them in the conference finals. I'm sorry, but what am I looking at? This is the Chicago team we're facing and that we're going to game 7 with. Are you serious right now? They must have the best defenseman of all time, right? Nope, they just have Seth Jones still. Justice Anunin in net. So if we lose this game 7, I think I might have to call it because I don't even know what to say anymore. Come on, EA, prove your sim engine isn't the biggest joke in the world. Period number 1, 3-2 us. Esposito, McDavid, and Nugent Hopkins scoring. Period number 2, 4-2 us. This is good. Thankfully, we are able to beat them, which means we'll be going to the Stanley Cup Finals. Yes, if you want to give this game a compliment in some way, they are good at showing how unpredictable the playoffs are, I guess. That's one way to look at it. Trying to be positive, because I don't think I've been very positive this whole time. We face the Carolina Hurricanes in the Stanley Cup Finals. Lord Stanley is coming out of his case. The Edmonton Oilers are your Stanley Cup champions, defeating the Carolina Hurricanes in 6 games. They finally did it. It only took them 3 years. It should have took them way less, in my opinion, but they did do it. Apparently the President's Trophy curse is real, because this was our worst season, the only one we didn't win the President's Trophy, and we did win. It was Mario Lemieux who won the Conn Smythe, 5 goals, 3 assists, and 8 points. I'm assuming that is in the finals alone. Pretty dang good stats. And here is McDavid with the Stanley Cup. Let's see who he passes it off to. I'm interested to see. I'm hoping he passes it off to one of the other 5 men that we're doing this video for. Well, who are his options? Don't give it to Draisaitl. That would be lame. Brian Dumoulin? Bernie, who is it going to be? Brian Dumoulin. He's giving it out of everyone he could have passed it to. It's a Brian Dumoulin. You gotta be kidding me, Connor. Lemieux led the team in playoff points with 36, while Gretzky led it in playoff goals with 16. Wayne Gretzky is your regular season MVP. James Norris goes to Adam Fox for back-to-back years. Connor McDavid, who is a Montreal Canadian, wins the Calder. As we knew, Conn Smythe, Lemieux, Shesterkin gets a Vezina again, and Georgiev gets the William M. Jennings. We got Jeffrey on of the Arizona Coyotes winning the Jack Adams. How did they perform? Did they even make the playoffs? They must have. They sure did, and they actually beat Colorado in the first round, but then lost to Chicago. Yeah, this is definitely going to be our last year because we lost Mr. Bernie Nichols. He did not re-sign. I tried to make him. I didn't see what team he landed on, but either way, we're going to replace him with Draisaitl for the last year because why not? And we're actually going to put Draisaitl on the top spot with McDavid and Gretzky because I do want to see how that line would perform. We would finish first in the entire league with a 58-19-5 record, earning 121 points. Colorado was right behind us at 118 points. Gretzky would lead the team in points and goals, 114 points and 55 goals. It would be the cheat code himself, Nathan MacKinnon, stealing the league leader in points with 117. Gretzky would beat him out by 2 goals. And like I said, this is definitely our last season, so let's see if the team can go back-to-back on Stanley Cup victories. Entering game number 6, down 3-2 in the series. This is a do or die game for Edmonton. Obviously the Stanley Cup Finals. Period number 1, 1-0 Edmonton. Period number 2, and it was Adam Henrique who scored out of everyone. 3-1 Edmonton. Costin and Holloway. No goals from the Big 6 yet. Point makes it a 1-goal game early on in the third, so it's anyone's ball game. Why did I say ball game? I've been playing too much MLB The Show, I guess. And Stamkos tied it to make it even worse. Are we gonna get our first overtime elimination game of the day? We sure are. Chernak finds Sergachev, who finds Sidney Crosby. Hello, excuse me, I was not ready for that one. 2 minutes for slashing. Who was the guilty party? Eric Chernak is going to the box. We have McDavid, Gretzky, and Nugent Hopkins on forward. We have Draisaitl and Lemieux on defense for this power play. They gotta be able to score, right?
12 seconds later.
Gretzky to Lemieux, to Draisaitl, to Nugent Hopkins, to Gretzky, and it's a goal, and we're going to game 7. A beautiful play. The puck movement was on point. Well, it's time to place bets. Who do you got for game 7? As we're simming it right now. Period number 1, no score. Period number 2, 6-1 Tampa Bay. What do you mean? You blew it! Well, I'm shook to the core. Let's just get this over with. 8 times speed. I seen Crosby scored. I seen they had Morgan Geekie too. Did I see that correctly? Their team's actually stacked. I mean, not as stacked as ours. Like, we get one back, Gretzky, but we need a lot more than that. Not even gonna jump in. We got absolutely outplayed in game 7. 44-26 shots. It is over. Here's our look at the bracket. We swept Minnesota, lost 1 game to Anaheim, then swept Colorado, only to lose in 7 games to Tampa Bay. At least we got our 1 Stanley Cup, I guess. 27 points for Gretzky, led the team. Gretzky and McDavid both scored 13 to lead the team. Nathan MacKinnon wins regular season MVP. Noah Dobson wins the James Norris. Wakabayashi is your rookie of the year in Minnesota. Sorelli is the Conn Smythe winner. Out of everyone, why? I'm not, just move on. Vezina, Shesterkin, William M. Jennings, Logan Thompson in Montreal. Siegenthaler back-to-back Bill Masterson. And the Green Tree wins the Jack Adams. Wonder if he's friends with the Green Giant. Either way, thank you everybody so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, even though it didn't go the way I planned and probably you planned. I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace out.